Hey Joel, where did your family originate from?
So my parents originally were both born and raised in the Philippines. Um, my parents were kind of in different areas, regions in the Philippines. My mom was born in Oroqueta City, which is located kind of in the southern part of the Philippines,
Okay.
Mindanao region. My father was born originally in Tarlac, and spent a good amount of his life there in that area, but the majority of his life was really raised in Manila.
Oh, okay.
So raised in his early life in Tarlac, which was more rural province area, but Manila was where he spent the majority of his time.
Where were you born?
I was born in San Francisco, California.
Uh-huh.
St. Luke's Hospital, which is located on Cesar Chavez.
Oh, okay.
So my immediate family is my mom, my dad, who I talked about, and then myself. I am an only child.
What did your parents do for a living?
Let's see. So my dad, for the longest time, the earlier part of his life, was bouncing back between different jobs. Eventually, my dad, when he moved here originally as a high schooler, graduated high school, tried to find a job, couldn't find anything at the time, and decided to move to Alaska for a brief period of time. And he started working in Anchorage, Alaska, in the canneries, because that was a job that he felt was lucrative, but also temporary. So he did some sojourn work where he worked overseas and worked with the intention of supporting his family financially back home in the Philippines, but also in the United States.
Were you born then when he was doing that?
No, this was early on. This is way before I was born. And that's actually where he met my mom. My dad and mom didn't meet in the Philippines. They met in Alaska.
Uh-huh.
And they were both cannery workers at the time.
What's a cannery worker?
Canneries are kind of like the industry where fishermen, collect and acquire fish or crab, shellfish from the sea, and they package them into kind of packages for the supermarkets and send them back into the States, either in cans or whatever. So it's kind of like that form of industry. And so it was hard work, and that's where my dad met my mom, and eventually fell in love there and came back here to marry, where soon after they had me.
Oh, okay. Why did they come here for the American dream, or what was the motives to come here?
Oh yeah, I think both my mom's side of my family and my dad's side of the family, the common kind of narrative is they came here for quote-unquote better life, better education, better opportunities, is kind of the common narrative that my dad and mom would always say to me growing up. It's also important to acknowledge that around that time, there's also things happening in the Philippines that also causes people to leave. And so during that time, it was a little bit before kind of the declaration of martial law around that time with Marcos. And before that, there's already kind of like political turmoil in the Philippines, mass poverty, joblessness was a big key thing, which really kind of pushed my dad's side of the family, which was a large family, to start to make their way out here. My dad's father was in the military, and I think that's a big reason why he was able to kind of petition a lot of his family to come over here